Nikon has released a couple of products today. Don't worry, I'll be in focus any minute. Not out of ingenuity or to show off their innovation techniques, more to avoid being arrested by the European Mafia. That's fine. They added a USB-C port. They're bound to add other stuff. I think they had a meeting about it, actually. All right, fellas, we have to go to work. The European Mafia showed up again. They don't like our USB ports. So let's release a new camera. We must. Oh, come on, boss. This is our chance to really rewrite this thing. The Nikon P1000, oh, the flat earthers love that thing. Let's make it even better, maybe. We don't need to go as long. 3000 mil, that was a bit silly, huh? Let's knock it on back to 2000, but a faster lens. Did we dream that? A little enhanced video specs, better stabilization. This thing will wow the kingdom. Listen, Johnson, I don't have time for your energy right now. The flat earthers are annoying. They're stupid people. They don't think for themselves. They can't touch a ball. They won't play sports with a ball in them. It's too round for them. They only play frisbee. I don't need these people in our lives. Let's just put the USB port. We'll update the Wi-Fi thing to a more advanced version that you've never heard of. We'll charge $100 for it. Sir, it's February. This is the time where all the companies are releasing a couple products. We have to stand out from the crowd. If we release the P1100 with nothing in it, no one's gonna actually get it. We need to innovate. Faster lens, bigger sensor, smaller body. Yeah, I'll make it work. Alien tech. Don't worry, Johnson. We got a 35mm f1.2 coming. It's gonna blow your mind. It's gonna be so sharp. It's not gonna be flat. You think it's gonna be flat? Come on, it's gonna have some pop. It's gonna have some. Oh, we got the memo about that lens. If you dare release something like that, 17 elements, who's going to Pac-Man your way through life in a three-dimensional field? Not us at Nikon. I refuse to make the device. Then maybe you're gonna have to refuse to breathe, buddy. Maybe, oh God, oh, oh boy, there's a lot of evidence for his death. Uh-oh, it's all on my hands.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So Nikon was busy doing stuff this morning. We're on the Nikon Z6 III, of course, 50mm 21.4 Z lens. Forget about it, the autofocus is so smooth, never stuttering. It's just like brilliant dual pixel autofocus. You wouldn't believe, totally phase detect in here. They're not lying. It's brilliant. So, some interesting products here. I just want to bring some common sense to the releases. Nikon P1100. The P900 was pretty cool. 2000mm, in my opinion, a bit overkill. Then they made a Mark II kind of P1000 with 3000 mils. You're just dumb at that point. It was so big and heavy and dark. I don't need that in my life. If I was making a camera like that, I'd be like 24 to 800, faster lens, much smaller, much better. You could even, in theory, make a bigger sensor and keep it a huge size. Like a RX10 someone, huh? Nikon version, color science, forget about it. But this is just like the Panasonic release a couple weeks ago, the G90, whatever the hell that was. Like, we added a USB-C port. Like, these companies are being forced at gunpoint to change their USB ports, and they're no longer allowed to sell these cameras. And instead of updating it and making like a better camera, it's just the port. For more money, we all lose in the end. So like this Nikon, no thank you to that, but cool story on that one. Go home. When it comes to the 35mm 1.2 S lens, I have some thoughts. It's gonna be a brilliantly sharp lens, perfectly made by science. Beautiful rendering of the tonne, like the background's gonna be totally creamy and nice. A professional lens, science-y, beautiful. In my world, I don't care about any of that. I want 3D depth rendition. Just something real, like the old days used to be. And so like I have my Voigtlander 35mm 1.2. It's tiny compared to your little witch. Your witch, fat witch. It's not little at all. Where are you? Oh, you're on the camera. I was literally using it. Thank you, Nikon autofocus, for handling all that. That's a 35mm 1.2. Can it autofocus? Who asked you, asshole, Mr. Nosy? It's tiny. Look at that. That's full frame 35 1.2. Are you even joking? This thing has the depth. 9 elements, no ED glass. That is the formula if you want the pop. This thing's 17 elements. 3 of those are erectile dysfunction glass. Listen to this. According to Dirty Photography Club, you need less than 10% ED glass or you're popless. That, you would need 30 elements just to reach 10%. You're looking at a high percentage there. Totally, I know the number. That's bad news for pop. I actually saw a comment on DP Review and I was like flabbergasted. He said like, wow, this Nikon, I can't believe it's like, it has this 3D look to it I've never seen before. I wanted to reach through the screen, grab his sack first, just for the shock. And then he'd be like, what happened? And then I wake him up with, you moron, you're not seeing 3D pop, you're seeing the flattest lens I've ever seen in my life. They're cardboard cutouts. That's what you're gonna get. It's 2 fields. It's a layered lens of one thing in focus, another not in focus. Like a green screen effect. You're cut out of the scene grossly, and then whatever else is in the scene is blurry. It's 2 planes of existence. Whereas like what we're witnessing here with the little 3D pop, there's depth to it. Oh, I have examples. You want to see the examples? Here's a sample shot taken by DP Review artists who went out confused and bewildered in a cloudy day like, oh my God, we got to do a review today. Oh, why'd you tell me? I don't know what to do. So he took a fucking lawn chair over here. There's just no depth to the scene. It's a flat world in a flat universe, and not even a cat would sit on that chair. Speaking of cats, here's an example side by side. On your right, we have the new modern lens, Nikon 35mm 1.2, $75,000, I think, 900,000 grams. It's very heavy, expensive, sharp, flat, cardboard cutout. On your left, the old Canon EF 35mm 1.4L lens. Tiny, cheap, half the weight, less than 1/10 of the cost, and they're popping out of the scene. You can tell that they have round bodies. Like look at her legs, they're round, whereas the cat people are flat cardboard cutout losers. There's no character to the scene, it's just documented sharpness. And we have like the popping vintage touch of a Canon. Oh my God, the skin tones right now. Those cat tone faces, no thank you to those. Now, I have no problem with these type of lenses existing because that's a good way for Nikon to make money off morons who think that, oh, I'm getting the latest, greatest thing. This is their best lens. It's at, look how big it is. It has to be the best one. Look how expensive it is. The 35 1.4 is not better. This is more money. It has to be good, right? So like those type of morons, they have money sometimes. They were dentists. They were like selling graffiti to soldiers. I don't know how to make money on this world, but they have money and they are easily departed with it, is the point. So that's fine. Not everybody needs the 3D rendering beauty that our world used to offer us. Some of you want the modern clinical, I'm in a prison type of look. Look at the bars. They're flat bars. I can't get out. It's fine. When it comes to the formulas, that old EF lens, 11 elements, no ED glass, versus this 17 element freak lens with 3 ED glass. The Voigtlander 35, you want to see it? I knew you did. Let us just switch. This is a 3D popping lens. This is even more pop, potentially. Are we even worthy? I don't think we are. 35mm 1.2. This is what you're looking at with the Nikon only. 0 character, no depth. Sharper, you spent a lot more. Uh-oh, it's heavier. Now you're tilted down, you need a special tripod mount. Totally in focus right here. So side by side with that loser, Nikon color science, like that's a thing. You're kidding yourself. Sony leads the industry in color technology, obviously. So this lens, 9 elements, beauty. The EF lens, 11. The Nikon G lens, the old 35 1.4, 10 elements, no 80 glass. I bet you that has maybe even more pop than the Canon EF. Dare we even dream it? And the new Nikon Z 35mm 1.4, 11 elements, no ED. So like all of those are examples of 3D popping lenses, and they're all lighter, cheaper, funner, more character, more pop obviously, better. I'm just making up words now. So I don't even mind that people are this dumb to fall for a lens like this, thinking it's the pinnacle of creation, and they spend their money and they get it home and say, wow, that's heavy. That's a bit heavy, huh? Gonna have to do some wrist Pilates later on. That's a beer. But that just leaves people like me to laugh and sweep up the deals when they come for the 35 1.4. Someone's gonna sell it now. It's like, oh, this is 1.2. It's almost never better to get a 1.2 over a 1.4. The astronomical weight increase and price usually, unless it's the Voigtlander, come on, that's a steal of the century. It's just never worth it. It's always worse. The practicality of it. 1.4 is plenty enough. Tony 2 is probably more than enough on Micro Four Thirds at that. So, like, what are we even doing here? The ton. My God. Dare we even fathom being in focus? Nikon, you suck. Thank you for letting the sheep fall off a cliff where they deserve. Empty wallets in hand, hardly any Bitcoin. They're fine. They have savings accounts. The high interest savings accounts. Gives them like 0.23% a year. It's a fantastic investment. They're good people. They have a 401k. They're safe. That's not going to disappear in our current economy. It's going to be fine. You trust the government? I do. Just keep saving money. It doesn't lose value. It's fine. Buy the big lens. Someone will buy it off you one day for the same amount, probably. We learned a lot. Thank you for the Bitcoin donations. Do you agree? Flat, clinical, expensive, heavy, useless. Nikon, Zoom, what were you thinking? P1100? P on your mom. Subscribe for more. Anything else?